There's something for every motorsports fan in the TUDOR United SportsCar Championship. You want fierce competition? Thus far in the 4 classes of Prototype, Prototype Challenge, GT Le Mans, and GT Daytona, 17 race victories have been claimed by 14 different teams. You want world-class drivers? 2 weeks ago in France, nearly half of the 168 competitors at the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans had TUDOR Series experience, including 2/3 of the drivers who reached the podium. You want legendary racetracks? Round 3 of the Tequila Patrón North American Endurance Cup means a visit to Watkins Glen International, a circuit in the hills of New York State that has hosted Formula One, Can-Am, Trans Am, NASCAR, and of course, sports cars for 6 decades. You want it all right now? Welcome to the halfway race of the 2015 TUDOR United SportsCar Championship. It's the Sahlen 6 Hours of the Glen, live on Fox Sports 1. At the foot of Seneca Lake, Watkins Glen, New York, was the post-war birthplace of American road racing. Also the home of Watkins Glen International, which in turn is the home of Round 6 of the TUDOR United SportsCar Championship for 2015, the Sahlen 6 Hours of the Glen, powered by Audi. Despite some decidedly gnarly weather, we have a big crowd of knowledgeable Watkins Glen race fans on hand for the race, now set to begin in less than 10 minutes, live here on Fox Sports. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Varsha with Calvin Fish and Tommy Kendall, both of whom have won races here at Watkins Glen. Back in 1968, the first 6 hours was held here on a hot summer day. Weather will pose another challenge today. We've had heavy rain all weekend. It washed out qualifying, so the team will start in championship order. This is also round 3 of 4 in the Tequila Patrón North American Endurance Cup, honoring the best teams over the 4 longest races of the year. We'll award points toward a big cash bonus at halfway and at the finish of the race. But we come into this event, Calvin, off a huge buzz over that race 2 weeks ago in France, Le Mans.
It was a fantastic race, Bob, and the big news, of course, was that Audi finally got beaten there after a remarkable run. It took the perfect race, and the perfect race was put together by the number 19 Porsche, co-driven by Formula One star Nico Hülkenberg, and 2 of the stars of our championship who are competing here today, Earl Bamber and Nick Tandy. Bamber actually had the fastest race lap for that car at the 24-hour race, and Tandy was simply sensational. We believe he put together the fastest ever raced in at the 24-hour race. They're riding a wave of confidence. They need that today to try and get Porsche back on top in the GTLM category, Tommy.
Yeah, that's for sure. And like Tandy and Bamber, Oliver Gavin and Tommy Milner came into Watkins Glen off that huge, flawless race win, feeling 10 feet tall. Going into the race, different look for Corvette. You had the 3 car that was on the roll. They'd swept Daytona and Sebring. The 4 car had a 2-year slump. When the 3 car got destroyed on Thursday with a stuck throttle, the 4 car had to step up in a big way and break that slump, which they did. Now the question is, coming back to the States, what's going to happen to these 2 teams? Is that momentum enough to get the 4 back on track? And more importantly, can the 3 get their mojo back? Huge setback for that team in their psyche. Can they get back on track and maintain their points lead?
And let's not forget the 3rd driver in that winning Corvette, Jordan Taylor, now moves back over to his day job, driving the family hot rod in the prototype class. With more on prototype, here's Brian Till.
Bob, prototypes have been spectacular this year as far as competition goes. In fact, no driver has qualified on the pole more than once, and no team is a repeat winner. We'll see if that changes today. Fitting then with rain canceling qualifying, our championship leaders, the number 5 from Action Express and number 90 from VisitFlorida.com. They are tied in the championship. They'll start on the front row side by side, but a different approach for those 2 teams. The number 5 team, they've got an extra driver. Max Pappas has won this race before. He's lined up in the reserve slot in case they need him. The 90 will go with just the 2 regulars, Richard Westbrook and Michael Valiente. The problem, Valiente a little under the weather. Everybody's going to have to watch the 60, though, from Mike Shank Racing. They have been fast in every practice session here, wet or dry. A little larger air restrictor. That team feeling racy. Jamie?
Well, in GTLM, the number 3 Corvette does lead the point standings, so they also start on the class pole today. But as Tommy mentioned, they had that devastating accident at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. That put a halt to the stellar season that they had so far built up. Magnussen had that stuck throttle. big crash. He walked away from it. However, the car could not be repaired. The team did not see the green flag. Today, that car has still not been repaired, and they're actually taking the green flag here with the help from their customer team, Marber Competition, who have loaned them their chassis. Right behind them on the grid today, though, is a pair of BMW Z4s from Team RLL. They've been on a hot streak lately. They've won the last 2 races. They've been racy in wet and dry conditions so far, so keep an eye on the number 22 and 24 and 25. Brian?
Hey, Jamie, in Prototype Challenge, it's not uncommon to see the 54 of Core Autosport at the top of the team and drivers' championship charts. That's where they are right now. What is uncommon is to see them without a win at this point in the season. I spoke with the team and they said, look, we've had the little hiccups here and there, but we've been fast, we've led races. We're not changing anything. We're not going to get off of our game plan. If we just go for race wins, the championship could elude us. We're just going to stay focused and try to win the race that we won last year, get back on track. That race right here at Watkins Glen, the 6 hours, Sahlen to the Glen.
Well, in GT-Daytona, the grid has 4 different manufacturers in the top 5, and based off points, it's the number 48 Audi R8 from Paul Miller Racing on the class pole. They don't have a win this season, but they have consistently finished in the top 5. Right behind them, though, the TRG Aston Martin Racing Vantage of Christina Nielsen, joined this weekend by reigning GTLM champion Kuno Whitmer. But with the Alex Job number 22 Porsche, the Scuderia Corsa Ferrari on the 2nd row, it's going to be a fight at the top. Make sure, though, to keep an eye on that 5th place, number 23 from Alex Job, Team Seattle. That duo, they've won 2 races so far this season, not in the points chase, but they will be in the mix. Bob?
All right, thank you, Jamie and Brian. If there's one silver lining to missing qualifying, we've got 4 classes on track, 4 close championship battles, and the leaders in those class standings will start next to each other in the Sahlen 6 hours of the Glen. Stay with us. Watkins Glen International, Tommy.
Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, and an incredible road course that's inviting lots of comparisons to the Nordschleife. Obviously a bit shorter, but the natural terrain, the climbing, the low margin for error. You got the S's and then the famed boot, turn 6, 7, 8, and 9.
You see the prototype field bunching up in anticipation of a green flag. Notice all those raindrops. We weren't supposed to see more rain for at least 2 hours into this race, but we've already seen at least one car, and there goes one of the Mazdas. That's the 07 car. Is going to come in and
look at that.
Presumably switch, but we are green at Watkins Glen.
Westbrook nearly turned it sideways. There's the Action Express duo go to the front. Fittipaldi, Cameron tucks to the inside, coming off that big win at Detroit.
Misting rain in the air, damp, but...
Oh, they're sideways. Cameron looks to the inside for the lead.
Some are on slicks, some are presumably on wet, treaded tires. Here comes the GT-LM field. Something in the weather here at Watkins Glen.
Not a great start for Bill Oberlin in the white of the 2 BMWs, but one of the Porsches goes down the inside. Big move there by Pile.
3 Corvette takes the early lead.
You can see them swimming around. Got to be a mixture of tires. The guys on slicks will be struggling right now.
Up through the S's.
Difference in service. You see the concrete patches, Tommy. You got the blacktop. Then there's this sealer, which has really given the drivers fits. You see it right there. If you finish off the S's and come onto that back straightaway.
And this is normally an incredibly fast section of the track. You can see how slow the cars are going and how slick it is.
Pile to the lead. Porsche go back on top.
Well, it's clearly raining hard up there as they go through the inner loop, that chicane on the long infield straightaway.
Curious to get the info on what all of these guys are on tire-wise, because you see some of the guys slipping back, and I'd have to think those guys may be gambling a bit at this stage on slicks.
And there is Mario Farnbacher making some moves. 2 wins in the bank already this year. And one of the guys that compared it to the Nordschleife was Mario Farnbacher.
Look at this, you see Kaffer there. That's one of the GTLM cars going relatively slowly as the GTD cars spin. Oberlin's involved, as is one of the Porsches.
Able to drive away. It's the 25.
Oberlin.
Is he spinning his wheels?
Pile, we believe, may have been the one that had the lead coming out of the bus stop, so not sure if he maybe looped it and Billy just got caught up and it will wait for a replay.
You can see just how slick that rain-soaked ground and grass off the track surface is. What a diabolical mix.
Coming off of 2 wins. Oh, now it was Billy who lost it.
Yeah. Does the Porsche get into him? Might have been light contact. as the field scrambles around. Some of the PC cars in the mix with the GTLM and GT-Daytona class machines.
Things settling down at the front. Fittipaldi with a healthy lead over his Action Express teammate Dane Cameron. Westbrook settles into third. Negri, that 60 car, that Shank Racing Ligier HPD has been flying here in dry conditions this week.
Our Continental Tire leaderboard across the top of your screen, along with the countdown clock through the 6 hours.
Delta Wing is looking strong. Rojas up to the 6th spot.
Done a lot of testing with that car. New lightweight chassis, but heavier components in that remarkable machine.
Board here with Joey Hand in the Ford EcoBoost Ganassi entry. You can see these guys just tiptoeing on the throttle. You've got to be so careful.
Let's take a look at Bill Arberlin's spin from on board the BMW Z4. Team car up ahead, twitching slightly. It'll happen coming off this left-hander. Just tiptoeing.
The folks at home, it's like driving on ice in the winter. It's just unbelievable how slow you have to go to just maintain the car on the racetrack. As we see, it's the 912 that got involved. The 912, not the 911.
Calvin, you were talking about rain tires. Really, the only